Ça, là, it's okay. Excuse me. Can you put your
It started with a sandwich, a plain one really. The bread was made of wheat, it had some vegetables, and it was placed inside of a Ziploc bag. Nothing fancy. But I remember handing it to an old man who was sitting alone on a bench during a sick community food drive. He looked at me and smiled and said, "Thank you," but not any kind of smile. The kind that in some way gets past your outer self and goes right into your gut. At the time, I was simply following my instructions and helping my community by doing what I was supposed to do. However, something inside me changed, and it felt like something small, like a spark. In Sikhism, there's a word for this kind of act. It's called seva, which means selfless service. It means taking action on behalf of others with no expectation of getting a reward, recognition, or a thanks. Just giving, simply serving, and just being present for someone else. But in that time, I realized something. Seva isn't about what you give to the world. It's about what the world gives back to you when you decide to show up with purpose. That was the beginning of my spark within and has guided me ever since. Growing up, I was surrounded by many rituals, prayers, and stories about compassion and courage. I saw pictures of Guru Nanak walking barefoot to comfort the poor. I heard about the community meals in our temples where everyone from a CEO to a janitor sits on the same exact floor to share the same meal. But for some reason, those stories felt distant. Sacred, yes, but ancient, bigger than me. I never thought they could apply to my life today for things like volunteering in my community or for speaking for TEDx, until I really understood what seva meant. It's not just a religious idea, it's a way of life. And for me, it became a leadership role. Here's what they don't always tell you about leadership. It doesn't always feel like leading. Sometimes it's sweeping the floor when no one's looking. Sometimes it's letting someone else speak first, or staying late after an event to clean up the chairs when everyone has gone home. There's always this common misconception: to make an impact, you have to start big, to go viral, and to be great. But I've learned that the spark of real change rarely starts big. It starts small, quiet inside. It starts with asking, what can I do right now with what I have to serve someone else? And once that question becomes a part of our everyday thinking, something incredible happens. You stop waiting for permission, you stop asking for what you can get, and you start seeing the actual need everywhere. That was the beginning of my spark within and has guided me ever since. Through seva, I've led food drives, helped organize events, and helped mentor younger students. Not because I had to, but because I could. And every time I chose to help from a little more myself, I didn't feel more drained. I felt more alive. It's strange, isn't it, that doing things for others can actually help satisfy you? Well, that's the paradox of service. You think you're lighting your own path, but you end up lighting others' path. There was another moment that I'll never forget about. I was helping organize a winter donation food drive. We were collecting food, even socks, coats, and hygiene products. Simple stuff, the kind that most people won't even think about. A woman passed by late in the day. She was almost hesitant and embarrassed to ask if we had anything left. She had 2 kids with her, and she kept on apologizing and saying, I'm sorry, as if needing help is a crime. That moment broke my heart, not because of her need, but because of her shame. We live in a world where it is so shameful to ask for help. But when I handed her a bag of supplies and looked her in the eye, she started tearing up. At that moment, I asked myself, why must kindness be so rare in this world? Why must service be viewed as an extraordinary act when it should be looked at ordinarily? Seva shouldn't be surprising, it should be standard. And maybe that's what the spark within is really about. Not waiting for the world to change before you do something, but realizing you are the change right now, right where you are. Here's the thing. You don't have to be sick or whatever religion to practice seva. You don't need to have a religious background or a spiritual guide. You just need the willingness to serve without seeking something in return. You need the courage to show up with no guarantee of an applause. And the belief that the smallest act, such as a coat, a meal, a conversation, anything, can affect outwards in ways you'll never see. And I think we're living in a time where that mindset is more important than ever. There's so much pressure to stand out, to be great, to go viral, and do these many big things. But what if we paid more attention to showing up than showing off? What if the spark within was something you already had, and it grows every time you choose empathy over ego? Seva is one of the most purest forms of that spark because it doesn't care about your grades, your status, or your resume. It only asks, will you help? So today, I'm not asking you to start a movement, not yet. I'm asking you to start small, to look around and ask yourself, where is someone hurting and what can I do right now to help them? Maybe it's a sandwich, maybe it's tutoring someone who's been struggling lately, maybe it's calling a friend who's been quiet, or maybe it's just giving your full and undivided attention to someone who just needs to be heard. Whatever it is, do not underestimate it, because that's how fires start, with a spark. Thank you.
Thank you so much.